Story 1. Unsubscribe button not being honored. Tactics include 1. It takes 15 days to unsubscribe, but only 1 minute to subscribe. 2. Sometimes the link does not exist at all. 3. Sometimes it takes you to a non-existent page. 4. Sometimes it asks you to log in, but you never had an account. 5. Sometimes they will randomly send emails even after unsubscribing, especially around the holiday season. Like out of the blue, they will email, I think they got a new incompetent marketing person. 6. Them not realizing that the product they sell is not something I buy or need on a regular basis. For example, in Dakino, how frequently do you think I buy a new suit? 7. The whole marketing email is an image and not in HTML. Clicking on it just opens the image or takes you to the home page, mostly sites from India. 8. Somehow referencing the Can Spam Act and sending it to their privacy email stops all the emails suddenly. But then point 5 happens. Story 2. Subscription with ads. Ads were only widely accepted because we had to maintain our work somehow. Ads ruined the internet. Then subscription came along, offering a paid version to get rid of those pesky adverts. But hey, let's get more money from both sides. Also, premium content. All content uses the same platform. They are forced to do extra work to separate content in the delivery and choose which content is premium. It's a scam on top of their subscription scam. Story 3. Everything needs an app, especially physical devices. I don't want your cheap, buggy app to use my thermostat, scale, battery, lock, or light bulb. Ship one if you want, but devices should conform to standards-based, documented protocols so I can control them however I want. I also don't want to install an app just to do something that works just fine on a website. Also, requiring internet connectivity is a poor design. I don't want basic functionality to depend on your servers being up and requiring accounts and giving you unknown data. My whatever should not stop working because you decided to stop spending money on the servers. This is bad with software, but egregious with hardware and unacceptable with household devices. My water heater should never depend on outside servers. I've been in tech for a long time. While greed, control, and access to sellable data drives lots of things, there is also an attitude surviving from the 1990s and 2000s that the lifespan of anything is a few years. This attitude infects product design even in fields where lifespans are decades and replacement costs are high as we add computing to everything, which can be a great thing. USB was successful not because it had one-ish plug, but because it standardized the protocols devices used. All mice speak one protocol, so anything that knows it can handle any mouse. Z-Wave and Zigbee tried to do this for household stuff, but instead we got vendor proprietary internet-connected phone home Wi-Fi devices. Rant done. Story 4. Here is a new product. Uber, DoorDash, Amazon. It's so cheap and easy. 1 year later. Sorry, we had to raise prices. Sorry, you have to pay for a membership now. Sorry, we had to make the app really confusing so you're not really sure what you're buying. Sorry, you have to wade through 1 million ads to find what you're looking for. Sorry, not sorry. Story 5. Apps and accounts for everything. Especially when it could just be a website with guest checkout. I will never go to McDonald's again because you need an app to get their real, non-absurd price, and last weekend I tried skiing at Pico or Magic, but they needed an account to be created online, and you could only buy a ticket through the account. They didn't let you just walk up to the ticket window and buy a ticket. Ridiculous. Story 6. Hippity hoppity, your data is now my property or something along those lines. Also, digital rights management is complete nonsense. Story 7. Data caps are literally not due to a technical reason for it. Throttling may make sense if they get overloaded, but caps are literally just money grabs. Story 8. Planned obsolescence. Companies need that profit margin, and they will use very underhanded methods to make sure your appliances or electronics will get replaced by their new models when they come out. Story 9. I cannot believe I do not see this here, but the fact that most technology companies use their end users as testers is wild. Often, you get something released that like half works, and the end users or customers are used to find and fix bugs. It is everywhere, man. Story 10. The way expansion packs work with games now, or at least a lot of games I play, seems different. It used to be that an expansion meant essentially almost a new game with lots of unique material. But now, I feel lucky if any single one is noticeable at all, not to mention day one releases. Story 11. Tenuous link, but BMW's subscription service. The options are already in the car, but you have to pay a monthly fee to unlock them. Story 12. I work in a very niche area of tech, and the biggest scam is people who work in tech but are not tech people. I'm specifically talking about people who show up as chief executive officer or founder on LinkedIn and try to sell me some artificial intelligence-driven, zero-trust, buzzword salad product. The field is so full of them that the non-technical decision makers are having trouble figuring them out, so they put a non-technical or pretend technical chief information officer or chief technology officer in charge, and he hires more non-technical people because he himself is too non-technical to figure them out. Before long, your information technology, cybersecurity, and information systems management departments are loaded with people who have no technical expertise. Example, my company buys smaller companies, and in one case, we bought a small 20 million operation. Their IT department was one very technical systems admin and then about 20 people who were really good at Excel. They had the entire corporate network run by daisy-chaining routers together, all operating with no VLANs or traffic segregation or security. There was no firewall, just connecting a router to the modem. They didn't bother with any Wi-Fi security, just people connecting to the network, so guests' personal cell phones, whatever, were all directly tied into the corporate network. I explained that this was a problem to my management, who doesn't know tech but trusts me to know it, and to the new subsidiary. Their chief technical officer was furious at me for telling him how to do his job and fully believed he was still in charge of their tech. He had a chief information officer who worked for him, and she spent roughly $20,000 a month on services that she bought from vendors to support their network. Most of the stuff she bought didn't even make sense in the context of their organization. Stuff like spending tens of thousands on a cloud product and Terraform to deploy their infrastructure as code when they had 3 virtual machines on Amazon Web Services. She spent every day being wined and dined by vendors and then threw them breadcrumbs to keep visiting her and filling her schedule. Story 13. Annual licensing fees for programs such as software and apps that already cost hundreds of dollars to begin with. Story 14. AI in everything. Just leave me alone with this self-learning, auto-replicating, language-adapting mess. I just want my Chrome to load websites quickly, not analyze my text entry patterns. Story 15. Digital media in general. Yes, I understand why people would adopt it for convenience and the like, but for all the money we spend on it, we don't own anything. Companies can fail, go through breakups, mergers. Licenses can expire. Digital storefronts can close, and so on. At any point, the game, movie, song, TV show, or whatever you paid for can be rendered unusable and unobtainable with zero notice and even fewer ways to get it back. It has been especially significant in video game circles with various digital storefronts being shut down. For instance, the Nintendo 3DS and Wii U stores just got discontinued. It has been announced that the Xbox 360 store is set to close this year, or they are only kept running by way of extreme backlash. Like when people expressed strong disapproval after Sony announced they were planning to discontinue the PlayStation 3 store. And there will be no way to get those games back unless you resort to pirating them. As the saying goes, if buying isn't owning, then piracy isn't stealing. Story 16. Physical banks charge fees on everything executed digitally. You want to move your money, transaction fees. You want to keep your money, account management fees. You want to withdraw your money, fees again. Seriously, everything works on its own with technology, with no human intervention 99% of the time. Banks already make money from loan interests, while giving us back meager return interest to borrow our money to go make millions in profits. Having to pay for basic and automated operations is a ripoff. Story 17. Subscription-based in-car technology. We are currently transitioning into an era where the physical hardware built into the car, for which you paid $50,000, is restricted behind a subscription. Story 18. Pretty much the whole AAA video games industry, releasing bugged games, making games with downloadable content in mind or cutting content to sell it to you. Endless sequels, no more risks, creativity, or originality. Microtransactions, gambling, and subscriptions. Online single-player games. You don't own games anymore and can't sell them. The quality of hardware, especially controllers, has gone down significantly. I don't know if it's accepted, but people really have no other choice but to take it. Story 19. Trapping customers in ecosystems. Having non-upgradable hardware. Only having a limited time with security updates. All focused on optimizing long-term profits. Story 20. Planned obsolescence. This applies to nearly any technology. We could have light bulbs that last essentially forever, but there is simply a lobby making it impossible because then not enough bulbs can be sold. This applies to phones, laptops, washing machines, you name it. Well, just the way it is. Story 21. Extended warranties for electronics are rarely worth the cost, given the low chance of a malfunction that would fall under the warranty terms. They often overlap with the manufacturer's warranty. Story 22. Subscription traps. They make signing up easy but canceling difficult, often hiding the cancellation process. Story 23. Advertisements on and in front of literally everything, and spam emails and calls or texts being free for scammers to take advantage of. Story 24. Text message charges by mobile carriers, especially when considering the negligible cost of transmitting short message service data compared to the fees charged. Story 25. Forced arbitration and changing the terms of service after the product has been bought. When I bought my device, I had an understanding of what I was buying. It makes my skin crawl knowing that companies can change that after I've paid for something, and I can't hold them accountable for it. It's like buying a pizza with some toppings. After I buy it, with the terms being that I can eat the toppings as well, they take away the toppings from the rest of the pizza as soon as I've had a couple of slices. It feels absolutely disgusting to me. Story 26. Ticket surcharges, Uber Flex fees, among others, essentially represent everything that has enabled greedy individuals to delve deeper into your pockets. Story 27. You don't actually own anything. You just own a license to view, listen, or play it. This can be revoked or edited at any time without consequence. Story 28. Needing Wi-Fi to play single-player video games. Yeah, like 5 people are complaining about it, but no one is doing any meaningful protests to stop it. Unfinished products being sold for full price, everyone hates it, but I guess we all consume. Like I can guarantee you that Rockstar will rush out Grand Theft Auto 6 and it will be leaked with everyone saying, "It's bad, literally impossible to play," and yet everyone's going to buy it. Story 29. Convenient fees when paying with credit cards. Like what, do you want me to send a physical check that you have to go and cash then? Story 30. Subscriptions for software. You used to be able to pay around $100 for a really good piece of software, and you could keep it forever. You would either get the next one at a discount or you would get free updates. Now, you have to spend about $200 a year, and you don't get to keep the versions you pay for. Story 31. The current one is that language models like GPT-4 can do your homework, handle your taxes, write a new program for your specific need, and do all that with complete understanding of the task and what you mean. The last part is the issue. A language model can do some impressive things, but they have no capability for reasoning, understanding, planning, etc. Yet they are being pushed in ways that make the public think they do, and so they are being used inappropriately in myriad ways, ranging from writing legal briefs to planning combat strategies. They are nothing more or less than very advanced next word predictors, yet they are being treated like HAL 9000 or Commander Data, with their capabilities being greatly overhyped by the industry and overestimated by the public. You would think we cracked artificial general intelligence the way this technology is being advertised. Story 32. Read the text below after corrections have been applied. Having to subscribe to your car. Yes, that's right. You're buying a brand new car for $75,000, and they make you pay for extras on a monthly basis instead of just having a base model and a premium model. It's just one model and you pay for the extras. And people just accept this. They think that because they're saving money on fuel, they're okay with spending it on the subscription. Story 33. Cable TV packages often include hundreds of channels that most people never watch but still have to pay for. This forces consumers to overspend on content they don't want, just to gain access to a few channels they actually do want. Story 34. Cell phones are charged by bandwidth usage. Landlines were not. Wi-Fi is not. They all use the same wires now. Story 35. More of you should know about Cory Doctorow's theory of enshittification so you can recognize it elsewhere. In short, it's a three-step process. 1. Give the users what they want, good deals and TV series to build a captive audience, Amazon Prime users. 2. Sacrifice audience happiness to attract sellers or advertisers, resulting in worse and worse Prime deals, more and more sponsored results. But if you leave, you lose your Amazon Prime shows. 3. Wring every cent you can out of your sellers or advertisers to pass on to your investors. Amazon is now an environment of one-off companies called like Bixer who are paying more to get listed higher. There's no concept of brand loyalty.